$1 million, rear-wheel drivers versus sim racers. Yes, it was the Road to Vegas e-race. What happened? So let's get to the start. Let's give a quick summary of what actually happened. We had the sim race drivers there in the rigs, and we had the qualifying real-wheel race drivers. Basically, to qualify for this, they had a bunch of lead-in events, had some online races beforehand, and the top racers then got to be invited to this final event with the actual big prize money in it. So before things got going, the stream was delayed somewhat due to two of the sim rigs breaking down. I don't know what happened, but there was at one point a technician knelt by the side of one of the sim rigs, frantically bashing on the number pad for whatever reason. Apparently that's how you fix a broken sim rig. You mash on the number pad. I don't know what happened there, but I think they ended up just starting the race, and they just told two drivers to go home. Fortunately, they were real-world drivers. No one cares about them. They're already probably rich, and they get to drive real cars, so they could go back home, and they were forgotten about. So the race got going with two missing cars, technical problems. The race started rather by surprise, actually. The commentators weren't expecting it. There was no warning. It was just go. The commentators were like, oh crap, the race has begun. Let's start commentary. So they started the commentary of the race, and the actual start of the race, the driving was pretty cool. It actually looked really nice at the beginning. Cars started going off. There was a crazy, absolutely crazy crash where three of the drivers they decided to make a sandwich. And you don't make a sandwich in Formula E. The track's just not big enough for the sandwich, and inevitably the two bits of bread on either side of the jam got destroyed. Following on from the kitchen disaster, the driving did get a little bit procession-like, but it was acceptable. The actual driving came across relatively realistic. There wasn't anything particularly silly going on until we had Bono, of course, the famed rock star. There's also a sim racer, you might not have known that. We had Bono and we had Philip Rosenquist, the rear-wheel driver, had a bit of a battle going on with them pretty close to each other, and it was quite exciting. They both ended up going to the pits at the same time, and we were like, okay, who's going to get the out of the pit first? Because Bono had sustained some damage on his car, which you could tell not by the car model, but by the fact his steering wheel was slightly off centre, which all experts know means your car's slightly broken. So it was a possibility that Bono would, whilst singing a song, be in the pits a bit too long, and Philip Rosenquist would be able to exit in front of him. So they're sat in the pits. It's quite exciting to see who's going to land out in front, because it's hard to overtake Formula E. Whoever leaves the pits first probably is going to win. And then, surprise, surprise, Ollie, who in his actual day job, he's a forklift driver, had capitalised on the fan boost. Somewhat more than was originally planned by Formula E and the developers of the Formula E mod that they were using for R Factor 2. He got, instead of 6 seconds fan boost, 6 laps of fan boost, which meant that whilst Bono and Philip were chilling out in the pits waiting for their car to be fixed, Ollie had gained about 12 seconds and was now miles ahead of everyone. Bono was somewhat distraught by this. You could just tell he was a little bit confused, given that Bono and Philip Rosenquist had actually driven a really solid race. Bono is a machine. I mean, an absolute machine. That when you put him in a sim rig, if you've seen any of his other driving or any of his songs, you'll know that he is a complete beast when it comes to doing anything. And obviously, someone that's that focused and can be that consistent doesn't adapt well to surprises, and we'll get to that afterwards. So anyway, they come out of the pits, they find themselves miles behind first place, a bit confused, and the race finishes. But before it does finish, there's an overtake at the end, with the commentary thinking that there's been some crazy overtake, but actually, no, there hadn't been a crazy overtake. It was just a back marker moving out of the way.
So he just racked.
Oh, he's gone wide! He's gone wide, and up the inside goes Felix Rosenquist up into second position.
So at the end of the race, we had Ollie that proved once and for all that you don't give a forklift driver boost, because if you do, they're gone. Coming in first place. Then in second place, we had Bono, and in third place, Philip Rosenquist. So the race finished, and again, this is where it got even more interesting, though, from a sort of production standpoint. the drivers all seemed a bit confused because the race finished and they were sort of finishing around to get to the end of the lap and take the cars back to the pits. There's no point, it's a simulator, but okay. And then we went to like an ad break for a bit, and then we came back, and the sim drivers were all sort of just stood around. They're all trying to work out what's going on because of course they don't know, or they didn't know how Ollie had got ahead of Bono and Philip. The sim racers all sort of coming together, having a little conversation, and this is where you could see that Bono was not happy. He genuinely looked like he'd been, looked like someone had come and murdered his entire family, which is understandable. We're talking $100,000 prize money between first and second place, so you can understand why he might be a little bit miserable. But no, really nice actually to see the sim racers sort of coming together, and they were just, saying, "Oh, it'll be all right. I'm sure it'll work out." And that was cool. That was really good, nice little genuine moment. So the sim racers all came off the where all the rigs were laid out in the weird sort of 80s sci-fi film rigs, gaming sci-fi film rigs on the stage configuration. So the sim racers all went off. Another ad break, and then we got to see the most exciting part of the stream, which of course was the commentators' Visa table being removed from the stage. And I feel that they should have given this a full race commentary, and they didn't, so I've gone ahead and made one for them. Visa and Michelin Tyres can thank me afterwards. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we see the Visa table, and it's go, go, go. Look, the first object is moved from the back of the table. We've got movement on the right-hand side. There's a commentator moving to the right. He needs to get out of the way. He doesn't want to block the table disassembly process, and there goes a lanyard off, and another presenter moved out of the way, and look, he's got a full-on grip. Boris with a full-on grip, and there's John on the right-hand side, and Arthur on the left. Look at them pushing it. They're going to have to go for a side-on angle. Can they fit it through the gap? No. Yes. Oh, an incredible sideways manoeuvre there. Technique coming in, look at that, some helping hand from the lady on the left, we don't know her name, and there goes the podium box. Oh, look at that placement, he's going to put it down there, but it's slightly off centre. Oh, he's called it out, they've adjusted it, positioned behind the commercial break banner. Oh, look at that as he moves away, prideful of his podium box positioning, the table slowly being shuffled around the corner, that sideways entry, absolutely superb. The commentators now finally out of the way, the bouncer to the left. Oh, he's come in with the box. What's his box for? It's the second place position box. Look at him putting it in. The camera zooms in. Visa, Formula E, official partner. The camera work, unfortunately, missing the box. Oh, there's a little, oh, look at that sneaky little box to help the first place winner of this event to actually get onto the first place podium position. There goes second. Sorry, with a little bit of confusion there. It was the third place on the left, second place on the right. And there we go. Some extra boxes to help the competitors on. Oh, an incredible positional work there. Bang smack in the middle of the stage. The bouncer on the left-hand side, checking his phone, not really paying attention. That is a severe lack of details, but he's put his phone away, and there we go. There we see, and look at that in the foreground. We see the competitors coming on. Oh, there's Bono, Ollie, and Philip Rosenquist as they go across the foreground, only to go back round to the back of the stage to then have to come back on the stage. And they've gone. And here we go. Look at that. Beautiful advertising board coming down, concealing the stage, and that marks the successful removal of the commentators' table. Incredible performance there. Have you ever seen a table moved so quickly, so elegantly, and so precisely? I haven't, but thank you. That was the Formula E table removal commentary. So that pretty much sums up what it was like for those of us watching the live stream live. And also, you'll be glad to know, just like real Formula 1 and Formula E, the results were provisional. So Bono actually got put back up to first, with Felix Rosenquist being put into second, and Ollie unfortunately had his forklift boost removed and not only got the first place taken off him, of course, but also got the fastest lap, I think, taken off him, with Bono also taking the fastest lap. As I say, Bono is an absolute machine. In terms of injecting our opinion on this event, there's a couple of notable things. First of all, it seems that the organisation of the actual sim racing part was a little bit of a mess. From how the simulator was set up, obviously it failed to work properly, causing the super turbo boost for 6 laps. But also visually, at a basic visual level, it looked horrendous. Now, R-Factor 2, which the core sim they used, doesn't look the best. It doesn't look as good as iRacing, Assetto Corsa, Project Cars, or any of the other sort of more shiny driving games and driving simulators. But it doesn't have to look terrible. rFactor 2 can actually look quite presentable if configured correctly and if you have a good track model. Strangely, the actual environmental models, in terms of the track layout and then putting significant buildings there, was done reasonably well. And of course, the sponsor logos, the Visa and Michelin logos, were absolutely perfect on the track. But things like the road texture and the general lighting setup just looked horrendous. It made the game literally look like something from the 90s or something for the PlayStation 1. Also, combined with this terrible end visual result of the simulator, the frame rate seemed to be going slow. I don't know if that was just because of the capture, the stream, or if the game was genuinely running slow, which I hope it wasn't, but it looked like it could have been. It just really, it didn't look good. From a spectator's point of view, if you came into watching this because it's at the top of Twitch, and a lot of people in the chat were clearly people that played Dota, WoW and CSGO, if you just come into this, you knew nothing about sim racing, you'd be like, what's appealing about this? On a visual level, what is this about? It doesn't look like it doesn't even look like real world racing. It doesn't look like any modern game. It's like, okay, so they're supposed to come into it and just get it? It doesn't work. So as a sort of visual promotion, it was pretty terrible. The sim rigs were nice to set up though. The play seats look nice. They used the Thrustmaster TS PC Racer and everything. And the actual video of the event, the general commentary and the general overall packaging and presentation though was really nice. It was just the actual core sim, the core game, which generally should be the focus of an esport thing. That part of it was pretty terrible. So yeah, in terms of a promotion of sim racing, it didn't really, I don't think it would have attracted anyone outside of sim racing to it directly. The only thing that will have was the fact that some Visa and whoever else was involved with the sponsorship, whoever put the money in, the prize pool will have just drawn in people out of interest of going, okay, there's a lot of money at stake, so that's inherently interesting. But other than that, it was a little bit of a mess, and I think it's a shame because you do see within the sim racing scene itself some of the iRacing events or even just private league races that have gone on. The editing, the general commentary, the production, the overall presentation was just so much better than what happened here, and actually more cohesive and easier to watch. So it's just really bizarre, and I think they really missed an opportunity to explain to the audience how simulators have developed over the years, how simulators are used in real-world driving for car development, learning track layouts, break points, driver focus, and how that's improved, and then also how this is a genuinely good opportunity to have something that's completely fair and purely about lap time and who can do the best result with exactly the same equipment. And I think that's really, from a competitive standpoint, not just for sim racing but for esports, the fact that everyone's got the same start point, everyone's got access to it, it's way more accessible than most other sports, and then you can have a prize pool that goes to the people that are most talented at it. I could go on forever, but really, as I say, the whole thing was really, I think, a missed opportunity. The money was there, the general setup was there, but it just wasn't done right. Now, of course, it's easy to say that after the fact. Like these esport events are a nightmare to organise and produce and have it all come together. The complexity involved in putting something like this together is insane. It's really easy to be critical after something's happened and just ignore the complexities. Who knows what happened in terms of the macro details, who shafted who, where money went, and you know the whole behind the scenes workings that cause the end result. My hope is that they learn from this event and do another one next year. Don't be put off from this and keep progressing with it, and hopefully build it into what it can truly be and the actual potential of this. If we can have the Formula E alongside a sim racing league or system that works with it, that happens annually and is mixed in and promoted in the same way, I can only see that as a good thing for both Formula E the competitors and SimRacing. So I'm still going to be optimistic here. You know, the house might be burning down a little bit. Sim racers might feel a little bit embarrassed by the guy's bare feet on the pedals and other aspects, but let's be positive. In the end, there was a proper event with $1 million, and we got to see people sat in sim rigs in a proper esport commentated event, which in my opinion is only a good thing. So there you go. That was our Game of Muscle view on the Formula Vegas Visa Vegas $1 million Formula E Virtual E event. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to click the subscribe button and like it. Also, feel free to drop a comment. I can't promise that I'll answer any comments, but feel free to drop one. And before we go, don't forget to check out Jimmy Broadbent's video on this. Race Department has a write-up on it, and Empty Box has also done a video on it. I'll put those links in the video description. So until the next video we do, which will be very soon, thanks for watching, and goodbye everybody.